Before I begin today's video, I'd like to pass along my heartfelt prayers, thoughts, good vibes, juju, name it. And I'd like to pass it along for the friends, the loved ones, the teammates, those who know Damar Hamlin the best. But most importantly of all, I'd like to pass them along to Hamlin himself. It is my deepest prayer and my utmost hope that he is able to overcome this, to get out of the woodwork, escape critical condition, get out of that hospital bed eventually, and resume day-to-day life. You know, as sports fans, I'm guilty of this as much as anybody. We have a almost sick tendency to dehumanize the people that get out there and play these sports as though they are nothing more than circus animals strictly put here for our entertainment alone. And as I said, I'm no better. I've gone on a Sunday and he sucks, get rid of him, he's a bum, etc. Yet last night was a somber reminder that underneath those helmets, or those hockey pads, or those basketball jerseys, those baseball jerseys, regardless of the name on the front of the jersey, or the logo on the helmet, or the city they represent when they sign those paychecks, at the end of the day, these are human beings too. Human beings that are blessed with a unbelievable gift to play a sport that so many of us enjoy, and frankly, so many of us wish we could be in the position of playing the sport on that level. Last night was, beyond a shadow of a doubt, one of the scariest things I've ever witnessed as a sports fan, what I've ever witnessed in media. I've seen a lot of things, man. Covering games in sports talk radio, I've seen hundreds of injuries that made me sick, made me sad, made me say a prayer or 10. Last night was the first time I'd probably say, since the fella from Florida, whose name now just escaped me, who is still very much alive and well, thank God, by the grace of God. But that's the first time I had thought, oh my God, this is somber. This is life or death here. Took me back to Hank Gathers when I was a kid. I had the same thoughts come to my mind. Unfortunately, Hank didn't make it. The young player from Florida did, who's now playing somewhere else. Johnson, his last name is. For some reason, I can't remember his first. Nevertheless, it was somber. It allowed so many of us to put our fan support aside. Forget who you root for. Forget that that's your rival team. And believe me, the Buffalo Bills are a rival team. I said as soon as it became apparent what was going on, nothing else matters. My team, absolutely, the Miami Dolphins, needs Buffalo's help in one way or another to make the playoffs. So their playoff hopes hinged on last night's game, and then if they happen to play it this weekend against New England. Yet, I don't give a shit. Yesterday, I could have cared less if the Dolphins missed the playoffs or if not. It didn't matter to me. And I know people say, well, that makes you less of a fan. And I'm like, fuck that. I'm not even worried about that, because this is much bigger than the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. This is much bigger than the National Football League. This is somebody's life. That's somebody's son out there. Somebody's brother. Somebody's friend. A man who gave a hell of a lot to the community, which I will tip my cap to professional athletics, fans of professional sports, and all around the world that saw this horrifying situation unfold before their very eyes. This man's running a charity, GoFundMe. Last I saw, he was over, I believe, $3 or $4 million. That's the good in sports fans that I like to see. Not this horse shit like we saw with Skip Bayless yesterday and so many others that bitched about their own personal gripes. I don't get to watch the football game. They got to complete the game. And I know they're thinking about, I don't want to hear that shit. Who gives a fuck? Really, in the grand scope of things. And anybody that felt as though that game was more important than that man's life, you're sick. I don't care what your walk of life is. You're a vile human being. And I give full credit to Zach Taylor. Of course, to Sean McDermott, too, for rallying his team together behind that and being the father figure and saying, it's, everything's going to be all right. Everything's going to be all right. But Zach Taylor showed brass beyond words yesterday. Manhood beyond words. I don't care if Zach Taylor wins another game in his professional coaching career. I don't care if Zach Taylor pulls a 76 Buccaneers every season for the rest of his coaching tenure. He is the biggest winner of them all. Because he said this game will not continue. And that meant something to Cincinnati. That meant something to the Bengals big time for their home, first round bye potentially. I mean, the Chiefs clinched it, but there were playoff ramifications that very much meant something for Cincinnati. Zach Taylor didn't give a shit. Zach Taylor said, if you force us to play this game, we'll take the forfeit loss. You're not forcing us to go back out there. That's a fucking man right there. That is a man's man right there. So Zach Taylor, I commend you as a human being, as a coach who put human life ahead of football, our entertainment. But again, my thoughts, my prayers, everything you can think of goes out to Damar Hamlin. And we all have hope. We all have hope. That's all we can do at this point, is hope for the best. Damar, hats off to you, my man. You got this.